I'm Cynthia Bemis Abrams, and I'm a lifelong Bloomington resident. I'm a product of the Bloomington Public Schools. And my husband Dave and I have been property owners, taxpayers in Bloomington since 1990. We raised our kids, who also grew up through the Bloomington Public Schools and participated in many of our great civic and community organizations. My ties to our community are very strong. I have been elected to the Bloomington School Board. I have been chair of the Bloomington Parks, Arts, and Recreation Advisory Commission, and I recently co-chaired the Bloomington Public Schools Elementary School Boundary Task Force. My bachelor's degree is from Minnesota State Mankato, and my master's in organizational leadership is from St. Catherine University. On the area of energy and environment, I think that there are a number of best practices that can be found regionally, nationally, and actually internationally to encourage conservation of energy and our environmental resources, and I would look forward to advocating for them and learning more about them in application at the city level. For housing, I think that we have to do as much as we can to create options for housing for those who have lived their entire lives in Bloomington, that they may then continue and transition to senior level housing, as well as making sure that there is affordable housing for first-time homeowners and young families. Taxes and finance is one of the strongest aspects of our city governance, and as such, I would support and contribute to thoughtful planning and appropriate planning and stewardship of our community assets and of our city finances, and continue at the AAA bond rating that we are so proud to have and have earned. Finally, within the next 4 years, I think the City of Bloomington has an opportunity to boost the vitality of our neighborhoods. Our neighborhoods are both the residents and the housing stock, as well as our local retail centers that are supposed to serve those neighborhoods and the local community. The greater the vitality of those neighborhoods and the more communication that goes into and out of them and amongst them, the stronger we have of housing stock, the healthier our residents, the more eyes on crime, and in the end, the greater return on our investments that we all have in our houses. Thank you very much. I'm Cynthia Bemis Abrams, running for the Bloomington City Council at large.
Hi, my name is Xavier Bickett, and I'm a candidate for Bloomington City Council at large, and I humbly ask for your support and vote on August 13th and November 5th. I've been a resident of Bloomington since 1998, graduating from the Bloomington Public Schools in the class of 2002, where I met and married my high school sweetheart, Sarah. And we bought our first home in Bloomington, and the first member of our family was a rescue dog, Mac, who is a black pointer lab mix. I hold a bachelor's degree in business and an AAS in accounting and tax from the Minnesota School of Business, and my professional background consists of experience in new business development in the insurance and investment industry, as well as a college admissions representative specializing in helping recent high school graduates. The League of Women Voters asks us to cover 4 main topics in 30 seconds or less each, so I'll do my best. Energy and the environment, housing, taxes and city finances, and the #1 issue facing Bloomington over the next 4 years. With regards to energy and the environment, the City Council should support appropriate city code and permit costs for residents to have ample opportunity to use clean and renewable energy technologies like solar cell installations. I think these steps will lead to taking better care of our environment, our parks, which I truly do enjoy. The second issue is housing, and I was reading a survey from 2012 for Bloomington citizen residents, with 61% of residents responding that the availability and affordability of quality housing was good or excellent, and 76% saying the variety was good or excellent. And I think we're on the right path here. In that same survey, they asked residents, what could we do to help keep property values high in Bloomington? 64% said keeping property taxes as low as possible, with 51% saying we're developing old commercial properties. And I agree 100% with those residents. I think those are steps that we should take. In regard to finances and taxes, I think our AAA credit rating is great. It helps keep our financing for our city at a good cost. However, one place I think we could improve upon actually leads to the 4th topic of what I think is going to be the #1 issue for Bloomington, which is jobs. And with taxes right now for our property taxes, I think we're actually behind other neighboring cities like Edina and Eden Prairie. With Bloomington's property taxes being 62% more than Edina, and I think this is pushing jobs and making us less competitive in that area. And I think this also goes well together with the survey I've been citing from 2012 Bloomington Citizen Survey, where 63% of residents thought that the job growth was too slow. And it also corresponds with CNN's Best Cities to Live in America, where Bloomington from 2000 to 2011 had a negative 8% job growth. I think this is something we need to consider moving forward. So with your help, I hope and your support on August 13th and November 5th, we can make Bloomington good to great. Thank you.
Thank you to the Bloomington League of Women Voters for creating this forum. I am Jack Beloga. I am the incumbent for the 3rd District City Council seat and am seeking re-election. I'm a 25-year resident of the city of Bloomington. I hold a bachelor's degree from the University of Minnesota in business and accounting. I had a successful business career in commercial real estate development and as a small business owner. I've spent more than 20 years in service to the city of Bloomington, serving on many of its boards and commissions. I have also sat on many boards of directors and in 2000 founded a nonprofit. We all need to be concerned about energy and the environment. I've worked with staff and 2 local citizens groups to assist the city in identifying areas to improve energy conservation. That would be clean energy, water conservation, water quality, increased recycling, minimizing solid waste, and stewardship of our land and habitats. A good serviceable housing stock is critical to ensure that Bloomington continues to be a destination city. Bloomington's housing is aging, and in 2012, I, along with the mayor, was able to dedicate additional funds to provide loans to Bloomington residents for maintaining and improving their houses. In addition, we provided additional funding for increasing code compliance monitoring. Bloomington is in great financial condition, and I will work to keep property taxes low and the quality of our services exceedingly high. This year, we were able to reduce the cost of monthly services to a median-priced home from $67.82 to $66.04. Additionally, it is important to note that Bloomington is one of 31 communities nationally that receive a AAA bond rating from all 3 bond rating services. I will actively support the redevelopment areas within the city of Bloomington. Those include South Loop, Normandale Lake, and the Penn American Boulevard. Each of these districts is important to ensure that Bloomington continues to remain a vibrant city. Bloomington needs experienced and knowledgeable leaders to help it address and solve its problems and to create opportunities. I ask for your vote on August 13th. Thank you.
Thank you for taking time to learn about the candidates. I'm Steve Peer, running for City Council, District 3. 25 years ago, my wife and I chose Bloomington. We chose to move here. We chose to open 2 businesses. We chose to buy a home. Our children attended Bloomington schools, and I've done volunteer work with Bloomington Police, Bloomington Parks, Bloomington Schools, Bloomington Health, and even right here with Bloomington Cable. And now I want to serve Bloomington in an even more meaningful way. I've worked with county and federal courts delivering domestic abuse and anger management programs. I am now Director of Communications at the Child Neurology Foundation. I was approached and asked to run for this seat in the hopes of maintaining balance and cooperation on the City Council. We are asked to comment on these 4 areas: energy and environment. Bloomington water is the envy of the metro area. Bloomington has demonstrated and encouraged leading environmental practices, from rainwater gardens to our annual curbside pickup to the design of our own city hall. I'll fight some of the schemes being floated to privatize services essential to the quality of life you expect and that attracts businesses. Housing. New housing projects planned for Bloomington will bump us ahead of Duluth in population, and that's great. But I hear from folks in my district that they want to be sure that taxes don't drive them out of their homes. Which brings us to taxes. Bloomington has lower taxes than many of its neighboring cities. That being said, some of our neighboring cities have been able to freeze tax increases. We have not. I think we should, and I think we can. I challenge the "I've never met a building project I didn't like" posture of the board. I challenge asking Bloomington residents to subsidize building projects. The recent Mall of America expansion project could have been an anchor around your neck. It was past council member Ann Lancheski who championed a program that spread the $250 million burden across the metro area. It was also Ann that asked me to run. What I see as the number one issue facing Bloomington over the next 4 years is simply representation. I've heard from too many constituents who have spoken before the board that the City Council made up its mind before we even walked in the door. I promise that I'll withhold my decision until everyone has spoken, until you've spoken. Please allow me to end with a story. Bloomington has a free dog park. Typically, free parks tend to be the dirtiest, yet ours is one of the cleanest. Why? I help create a knowledgeable dog park community, one willing to hold users accountable. I see that as a metaphor to our city, and I need your vote to help keep Bloomington clean and healthy. Bloomington's already the place you want to be. I want to keep it that way. Thank you.